The first part of the graduation framework that I'm going to take you through is what I call audience spotlighting. Audience spotlighting is all about finding niche interests, dissecting your custom audiences, maybe your page likes, and understanding where your opportunities are to find new audiences. And so the first part of audience spotlighting is the research. The second part is the testing. And in this short video, I'm going to take you through how I go about researching the new audiences. So there's 5 key areas that I look at when I'm looking at kind of audience insights, trying to find opportunities to dig deeper into my ideal customer. The first one is audience insights. So it's the free tool from Facebook. It gives you insights into your audiences, the wider audiences. You can go by country, etc., etc. If you haven't had a play, absolutely need to have a look at audience insights. Now, the way I like to use it is to be able to try and find new opportunities with existing data, which I find really cool. So existing data could be people that have visited your website. It could be an email list that you've got. You can upload that as a custom audience. But it could be even your page likes. And in this example, I'll show you people connected to my own page and being able to find additional interests and some kind of interesting insights that may come up as well. And so I've kind of added my page here as people connected to. So from here you select your page, you can upload your audience, you can look at locations, etc. So I've taken all of the demographics and locations out here. And what I like to look at in particular is the page likes. So I want to kind of look back into my audience, and these are people that have liked my page, to see what their interests are. So first of all, you might notice here I've got red and blue links. I actually have a Chrome extension installed called FB Audience Insights Plus. What that allows you to do is it goes and looks at which of these keywords here, these interests, these pages, etc., are actually interests that you can target. And the blue ones here are the ones that you can target. So if I typed in Marketo, I can add that as an interest and maybe create an audience from it. But the items in red don't yet have that ability to be able to target an interest. So it's a really quick and cool way of finding audiences as well. So these are your kind of categories where Facebook will group people into. But here I'm looking at page likes. I want to find other pages that I can target of their fans, for example. So I've got Chris Ducker, Mike Dillard, Frank Kern, some obvious names, and going down and finding where additional opportunities are. And I'll make a list of these interests to start testing against. So I know that there's some affinity with my fans here, and I want to find kind of little pockets of areas I can test, pull those interests out and start seeing which ones have the best resonance with what I'm trying to do. The next part is page affinities. If you're not doing this, absolutely worth having a look at. When you like a page on Facebook, Facebook comes back with more pages that you might like as well. So in this case, I've liked a page related to health, women's health, and I've got some page suggestions back here. And that, for me, especially the ones with the blue ticks, gives me an opportunity to think about other pages that I can like based on the page I have looked at for competitor research purposes. So Women's Health UK, La Redoux, Fruit Shoot Snacks, Honestly Healthy. They're things that I can go in, A, and see if I can interest target them, and also B, to see what those pages are about. What are those pages posting? What kind of posts are getting the most engagement as well? And it helps to build up that profile of my ideal customer and how other people are talking to them as well. One of my favorites actually is fan stalking, and this is where you go into your page fans and start looking at the likes that they have to try and find new opportunities to target. So I'll share a little story where we were launching a new product into Italy. We had a fan page, we started to do some targeting, generated some fans. We weren't quite getting the clicks and the sales that we were looking for. We didn't have much data to work with. And this is going back a few years before you could actually create a lookalike across countries based on a kind of core data source. And so what we did was to have a look at the fans that we were getting and going into their likes. So we wanted to know, what were these people interested in and what could we find as commonalities? What we did find, and we went through maybe 25, 30, 35 different profiles, was one common brand which stood out in our Italian fan page was for a blender product aimed at mums, and we were selling a product aimed at mums as well. And when we looked at this product, it was a blender which blends the natural ingredients and also warms the pot up so that you can actually feed the baby straight away. So it was selling like hotcakes in Italy. We started to target their fans and we saw great traction because these were the people that we absolutely wanted to go for. And so that's a great way of trying to find new opportunities to target as well by going into those page likes. What I would do is, go anywhere between 25 and 50 people, hit them up into a Google Sheet and start listing the kind of common likes. You can hire a VA to do this kind of stuff. Personally, I prefer to do this myself. I want to try and find those little pockets, and being the marketer, being the Facebook person, I can kind of see where those opportunities are. So this is a great way of dissecting your potential target audience and finding new interests to target them with. The next one is ad set suggestions. This is probably the most easiest one and most obvious one that people do, which is in your ad set, when you type in a keyword, you'll get some suggestions back from Facebook. And you can see here, I've typed in low carbohydrate diet and I've got some relevant interest back, and that's great. One of the things that people don't quite get is when those interests come back, depending on if the first letter is uppercase or lowercase, defines whether that interest is explicit or implied. And what I mean by that is, if, for example, you look here and you have dieting with a capital D, it means that the person that's got that as an attribute has explicitly, so they've consciously gone in and either liked a page relating to dieting, or they talk a lot about dieting, or they share lots of dieting related material. If that interest came up with a lowercase d for dieting, it would mean that it's implied. So Facebook is implying that this person has an interest in dieting. So one way of looking at it is, for example, when you create a lookalike audience, that 1% lookalike audience is the best audience you can get. The 10% is bigger, but probably less relevant. And the same works with the uppercase and lowercase for interest as well. So if you have an uppercase interest, it's like your 1% lookalike. It's far more closer to what you're looking for. If it has a lowercase, it's quite broad and it may or may not be the person you're looking for. So that's just something to keep an eye on. And finally, I like to also use a couple of external tools. One of them is called FB Niche Finder, and the other one is actually Google AdWords Keyword Planner. Both allow you to type in keywords and to come up with suggestions. So with FB Niche Finder, it's an application you can install on your machine. I think it's like $150, $200 for a year's license. But you can key in kind of words here. So I've typed in men's shoes and come back with other suggestions related to men's shoes. And the cool thing about this is it gives you reach as well. So you can get an idea of how big these keywords are. So you can kind of bring them into your targeting and start testing these keywords out. The way I use AdWords is in the same way. I'm typing in those keywords. I'm coming back with suggestions here, but I'm also getting kind of the average monthly searches and how competitive they are and what kind of bids are going into paid search. So one of the kind of key differences between Facebook and paid search is a lot of people use Facebook when they're trying to reach people prior to knowing that they want to buy something. So with Facebook, quite often you can push men's shoes into the feed and try and get them interested in it. With AdWords, it's a lot more passive. You have to wait for someone to search for men's shoes and you can serve up your ads. But it still gives you an idea of other keywords that you can try and type in. So I kind of use those together. I might, for example, put running shoes from AdWords into FB Niche Finder and actually see what comes up and to see which kind of keywords I can form as well.